Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank B Choppin', and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so what we're gonna be doing on this cut is a number 2 on top and a mid-bald fade. So even though we're doing a number 2 on top, I just want to let y'all know that we're actually using the detachable blades, and I want to let y'all know that because this detachable number 2 is actually slightly shorter than the number 2 guard. And I know some people, they might argue with me about that. They may say it's the same thing. Like if you look at the blade and look at the guards, it says it's the same millimeters. Now it may say that, but if I put a number 2 guard on my clipper, go over my client's head, and then put this number 2 blade on the clipper and go over my client's head, the number 2 blade is still gonna cut. So that's why I know the number 2 blade is slightly shorter, and I'm doing this on my client because he actually likes the number 2 blade a little better than the number 2 guard. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm gonna go over the sides a little bit just to debulk the sides, make it easier for me to fade into, and I'm using my 1.5 blade. And I'm coming right to that parietal ridge area using a slight flick out motion, not over exaggerating it, but I'm using a slight flick out motion. Alright, so now I'm gonna follow that step with my 1A, and this is my 1A blade, guys, and I'm bringing this into everything I did with my 1.5. And once again, this is basically doing some down fading technique. I'm not gonna do down fading technique for the whole haircut, but I am doing it a little bit here just to help make this fade a little easier for me. And once again, guys, this is my 1A blade, which is technically equivalent to a number 1 guard. It may be like slightly shorter, but for the most part, it's about a number 1 guard. Alright, so now that that is done, I'm gonna go ahead and set in my bald guideline. I'm going in with my custom FX Babyliss trimmers. And once again, guys, we are gonna be doing a mid fade, so I'm not coming too high with my bald line, but I don't want to set that line in too low either. Alright, so now I'm going to be going in with my Babyliss FX3 shaver. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best shavers that I've ever used. It gets the hair like really short, and it does it effortlessly. So I'm using this shaver to get the sides all the way down to razor skin. That way this haircut lasts my client a little longer. But mind you guys, when you come up to that line, you want to make sure you're using a slight flick out motion and you're not putting as much pressure on the shaver on the head. That way it doesn't leave a harsh line. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to actually doing some fade work. I have my Stylecraft Rebels in my hand. My lever is all the way open, and I'm going to set in another guideline. And as you can see, I am using a slight flick out motion, but once again, guys, I'm not over exaggerating it. I'm just flicking out slightly when I get to the point where I want the top of this section to be at. And as you saw me do right there, guys, I just closed my lever halfway, and I'm coming halfway into this section with that lever halfway closed, and I'm using a slight flick out motion. That way it transitions into what I did with my lever all the way open. And then I close my lever all the way, and I close my lever all the way, and I'm gonna start attacking that bottom line. And then you may see me do some lever play within this section, but for the most part, that is my steps for this section. Alright, so now I'm gonna try to take out that bottom line. I'm using my my Babyliss Low Pro. What is this? Yeah, my Babyliss Low Pro trimmers. And I'm just flicking at that line. Now this bottom line is actually going to give me a little bit of trouble, you know, this bottom part of the fade, but I'm gonna move on after I mess with it for a little bit, and I'm gonna get back to it. But as you can see, I'm just flicking at that line, trying to get this line out for the most part. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually going in with my 1/8 guard, lever all the way closed. And as you see, I just like barely did anything there because it really wasn't cutting anything. So I decided to move on to my 0 guard, lever all the way open. And this is gonna start to cut some of this hair right here and really start to blend this in. And I'm gonna adjust my lever closed as needed, just tapping that line using a flick out motion, just try to get this blend to come together. And you may have to go over these sections a good amount of time, guys. Like, don't think just because you go over the section one time that it's gonna be blended. Like, you're gonna have to adjust that lever. You're gonna have to take a step back, look at the fade. You're gonna have to do some brushing, open and close that lever. You're gonna have to work that section, guys, to really make sure that it looks nice and blurry. Alright, so now that that is done, I did see some discrepancies toward the bottom of this fade, or I guess the middle of this fade, you can say. I'm going in with my lever halfway, my lever's all the way open, and I'm just using some corner blending, you know what I'm saying, some detailed techniques trying to get this fade to come together. And once again, guys, even though this is an easy haircut to do, you can overcomplicate things, and it can take you a good amount of time if you're not really paying attention to what you're doing, or if you're trying to do too much. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes less is more. Just go through your steps and then go back and detail it when needed. Now, as you can see here, this blend is already coming together. It's looking pretty good. There is some more detail work that I'm gonna do, but for the most part, the blend is already there. I'm just detailing it a little bit, just being real nitpicky about certain things that I see. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want my client to walk out of the chair feeling really good about himself. Want him to think he's got the best haircut that he's ever had. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, that's what I do most of the time when I cut my clients' heads. Sometimes I get real like nitpicky with what I'm doing, just trying to make sure that the blend is nice and just make sure that it looks as good as it can possibly look. So now I'm moving on to my client's lineup. I'm starting off in the middle of my client's hair, or in the middle of my client's lineup. I always get confused on what to say here, but I started off in the middle of his hairline, set in my first initial guideline, and now I'm just working my way over to that vertical bar. And sometimes you're gonna have to go over the same area a good amount of time just to make sure that it's nice and as sharp as you want it to be. Remember, guys, take your time when you're lining up your clients. Take your time when you're detailing. Really use your mirror. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the haircut from different angles. Just really try to get a good idea of what your client is trying to get. Really get a good idea of the look you're trying to achieve, and just make it happen. Like, all you got to do is put them clippers to work, put them trimmers to work. You know what I'm saying? Just follow your steps, follow the process, trust the process, go back in detail, and just try to get everything to look nice and blurry. And man, I promise you, if you follow your steps and follow the process and trust the process, your haircut's gonna come out good. Now, yes, it may take you a good amount of time, or you may have to do it, for a while. Practice makes perfect. Remember that, guys. So you're gonna have to do it a good amount of times before you start getting good at some of your cuts. But just keep practicing and keep doing it, guys, and your haircut's gonna start coming out. And once again, I'm just messing with the bottom of this fade. Small discrepancies that I'm trying to take care of. But as you can see, I feel that this blend looks better now that I went back and I detailed it some more. So now we're on to the right side of my client's head. We're going to be doing the same exact thing, guys. So I'm going in with my Stylecraft Rebel, lever all the way open. And I'm going to do some fade down technique. And then after this, we're gonna go into that zero guard. You do some trimmer work first, get that bottom line out. And then after this, we're gonna go into the zero guard on the Stylecraft, the Stylecraft dubs, or the Gamma dubs, whatever you wanna call them. And really start working at this line. And then after this, we're just gonna go back in and detail it as needed. A lot of times, guys, like when I'm recording my haircut videos, it takes me a little longer, and I feel that I start seeing things that aren't really there. And I say that because this is my client Alfred. I've been cutting his hair for probably since like at least 2011, you know what I'm saying, at least. So I've been cutting his hair for a good amount of time, and his haircut is never hard. And I don't want to say that it was hard on this video, but I do know that it took me a little longer to record this video, and I was going back and being really obsessive with what I was doing. Is that the right word I'm looking for? I don't know. That's the right word I'm looking for. I was being like really obsessive with what I was doing, trying to make sure that it was perfect. And it never takes me that long to cut his hair. It normally takes me like 20 minutes to give him a haircut. You know, it's an easy haircut, guys. Easy to do haircut. Don't overcomplicate things. You know what I'm saying? Just do what you've been doing, like I said earlier. And this is my fault because, like I said, I feel that I overcomplicated things just trying to get get it nice and blurry. When I always give him a good haircut anyways. I think when I put that camera on, I was just trying to make it look as good as it can possibly look, like even better than I've ever done before. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. We gave him a good haircut. As y'all can see, it's already coming together. Just so y'all know, we don't add any enhancements on my client right here. He doesn't like the enhancements. So we're just doing the haircut, the line up, hit him with some razor work, and we're gonna get him out the chair. And once again, guys, these are the Stylecraft Rebels. If you like these clippers, if you want to try them out, you can actually go to the Stylecraft website. I have the website in my description. You can use my discount code TANK10. It'll save yourself a little bit of money. I know I also use the FX3 shaver and the Low Pro trimmers. You can find those on the Babyliss website. That link is also in my description, and you can also use my discount code on there, which is also TANK10. And then if you like the the custom FX trimmers that I had, you can download the custom FX app and use my discount code TANK10 on there also. It's TANK10 all across the board. And yeah, save yourself a little bit of money if you like any of these tools, guys. And now we're moving on to that razor work, and as you can see, I'm making sure I stretch that skin just so it lessens the chance of me nicking my client. And as you can see, this razor is really making them lines pop a little more, especially since we aren't doing any enhancements or anything. You know, we're just doing the razor work, and we're gonna get them out the chair. Alright guys, so check it out. This is how my boy Alfred came into the shop looking. And this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comment section. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. Remember guys, if you're in the Houston, Texas area, I don't know why I'm like stumbling over my words, but if you're in the Houston, Texas area and you want a haircut with your boy, you can go to my website, tankbchopping.com. You can book there. If you want me to record it for YouTube, you can put that in the comment section of the appointment, and we're gonna try and record it for YouTube. But that's basically it, YouTube. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go. Yeah.